The Australian cricketing nation has been given hope. None for 135. Obviously lost the rest of the day's play. We got half of it in. Obviously not overs-wise, but you got the first session and up to drinks in the second one before the rain started getting heavier, and that stayed for the entirety of the day, unfortunately, there. So with a target of 384, I called it yesterday that they weren't a chance of getting that, and this is the only chance of doing it. A massive partnership like this, it's going to be very interesting how it all works out, because if they were to continue on yesterday, you'd imagine that some type of luck would go to England and they might take a wicket. And we know in these chases that you can get off to a good start. And it happens pretty regularly. 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 stand in, the opening stand. And then they happen to lose a few wickets and they kind of tumble from there. The big thing that happens in England is most of the pitches actually improve and get easier to bat across the 5 days. Very different to that in Australia or in India or anywhere else around the world, just because obviously the weather, the conditions usually, rain leaves a little bit extra juice in the pitch. A few different things happen, and obviously the pitches aren't prepared as dry as they are in other places, so they can get really bad scuff marks and really deteriorate across the 5 days. We get the big cracks in Australia, for example. So it gives Australia a chance, and this will be, I think, the 6th or 7th highest run chase ever if they were able to pull it off. And you look at this and you go, well, 249 runs to win in 1 day's play, none down. It's basically, if you take away this opening partnership, it's basically 250, a full innings. And if you do bring it back, you've got two guys that are in and set. Yes, they're coming into a new day, but they're going to have some confidence coming into it. Like Warner will definitely, and Uzi's been very, very consistent across these Ashes. He's now into the leading run scorer, and he will finish as the leading run scorer here. You would say, unless a few of these guys, he gets out straight away, and Warner or Marnus come out and get a double ton or something like that, which is unlikely to happen. So you say that they're in the box seat, but history shows that it just doesn't happen. And that's why we said yesterday that hopefully it was the reverse jinx of what we said about them not being able to get there. And WinViz has Australia at 57%. I still think that's very, very high at the moment. The draw's 14, which makes sense. If there is a fair bit of rain around, then it could definitely get to that. And England at 29%. I'd definitely have them higher just in this one. But really the big thing with this innings, guys, was just the fact that they played with so much more intent. They looked to score, which was great. They ran well between wickets. And they took advantage of the bad ball when it came. And it did look like the pitch was, the ball was coming on nicely off the pitch, and they were able to play the shots that they wanted. They didn't let any of the bowlers settle, was the big thing there. And they got through Chris Woakes, and he's clearly their best bowler at the moment, along with Brody. It seems like there's some injuries floating around. So Anderson's getting pretty tired. He's starting to bowl fairly slow, after his first few overs kind of thing. He still looks solid, but just doesn't look super threatening, unfortunately, for him. Moeen Ali's got the groin injury. He's not in a good way. Joe Root, solid, but they kind of got under his skin a little bit. He'd seemed to bowl a couple of looser balls, and Khawaja was playing some nice shots off the back foot through backward point there for some boundaries there. And then Wood, they didn't bowl him until the 33rd, I believe. 3 overs for him. Looks like he might be carrying an injury there, refusing to say that he is carrying something, but you look at this and you go, it's actually a fairly vulnerable bowling lineup. So the Aussies have a decent chance of actually winning this test match, which is crazy that we actually have hope. And it would be absolutely fine way to finish off this series. And, Aussies will go away for their break before their next series, and obviously coming into an Aussie summer fairly soon. Very, very, would be very, very excited to come away 3-1 victors in this one. If it did end up to be a draw as well, if there's a fair bit of rain around, and maybe they end up 3 or 4 or 5 down for sort of 250 or something like that, that's definitely a possibility as well. But hopefully we do get a full day of play. I can't wait to watch tonight how this unfolds. And really the way that Aussies will win this is at least one of these guys needs to get 120 plus. Hopefully both of them can get a ton. And if they both get to that ton, you're looking at them sitting at around 210, 220 without a loss. If they lose that first wicket, then you're looking at a 170 kind of partnership there is needed. 9 wickets remaining. And it's still a lot of runs, but it's very doable. And I think the Australians will come into day 5 with a fair bit of confidence. Obviously, Kawaja has been known of recent time to get big hundreds. Warner, can he do what he did at SCG, I believe, and pick up a double ton and in his only really good score of that series against South Africa? So, yeah, I'm super excited to watch tonight. As I said, Wokes is kind of the man that needs to probably take 3 or 4 again, and I imagine Brody as well. So he still looks solid, just didn't bowl his best, but the Australians just batted with more intent and just batted better in general. So than they have obviously in that first innings and they did last Test match. It looked a little bit more like really the second Test match when Smithy and the like did much better in that one, and there was a lot more consistency across the squad. So yeah, really just super excited to see what's going to happen in this one going forward tonight. Let's leave it all up to that. I have plenty of hope. I know a lot of Australians will as well. And I can't wait to see it. Good luck to the Aussies, and I'll be watching tonight. I hope you are too.